Okay, so I was wondering how to start off this video. Before you, for you gun snobs, is an HK USP 45, right? It's got a match grade trigger. It's got an extended magazine release, and it's got some internal work to it. Set you back about $1,000, as you guys know, probably, right? Gun snobs are going to tell you, don't buy an inexpensive gun. Save up until you can buy something like this. Buy an HK, buy a SIG, or buy a Glock or something, right? That's what they're going to tell you. I am not a gun snob. I am a strong supporter of the Second Amendment, right? And I believe that any law-abiding American that wants to have a firearm and can, you can legally do it and you're responsible enough to do it, then you should. You have the right to protect yourself and your family. As a matter of fact, I made a video for liberals that don't understand why we have the Second Amendment, and they think, if you know a liberal that thinks the Second Amendment meant muskets and the founding fathers could not foresee the advancements, I made a video with all the technology they had back then, and I'm going to leave a link in the description bar, and it goes over all the innovations, and even Congress asking Joseph Belton to make machine guns, and they call it the machine guns, for the Continental Army. So, they wrote the Constitution and they asked for them. They can't not know what they asked for. Anyway, spread that out to liberals, and that'll shut them up. But again, I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment, and I want every law-abiding American that can, responsible enough to own a firearm, to do it. Now, we all don't have the same income. So somebody on a tight budget, what's a good option? Why am I bringing this HK out? Let me show you. Covering up my serial number there. For my new gun. Now, hold on, you gun snobs. I left a link in the description bar, or a couple links, to people who have defended themselves from armed attackers with a Hi-Point. Watch those videos. Then leave comments in those videos telling those people they would have been better off not buying that Hi-Point, right? They should have waited to save up to buy a better gun. You leave a comment saying that a Glock on layaway would have done them more good than a Hi-Point at home. I personally believe if you're on a tight budget, it's a decent way to go. And anyone who says otherwise, you're better off without a gun, is simply an idiot. Only a fool would see a person with a Hi-Point aimed at them would decide to walk over and try to take it out of their hands. I would like to say anybody that tried that was a complete idiot. But the truth is, they'd probably be missing body parts, chunks of tissue, or a ton of blood. Right? So, for someone looking for a good home defense option, on a tight budget, or you're looking for a recreational gun, which is what they're really, designed for, a great camp gun or glove box gun. If somebody broke into my house, my glove box, and stole this, almost $1,000, that, man, bring a tear to my eye. But if they stole this guy, I'll tell you what I paid for this. You're not going to believe me, so I'm going to show you. I'll live, if somebody stole that. It's a great handoff gun, too. Let's say there's a real shit at the fan scenario, SHTF, WROL, Katrina type, where there's rioters and looters, people are burning down buildings and attacking people, people being raped and beaten to death, stuff like that. Stuff happens like that. But anyway, let's say you have probably a Glock to defend yourself, but the neighbor doesn't have anything. You put that in his hand, you got two guys throwing lead at bad guys, two guys working together to defend your family, right? There you are. Good berry gun, something like that. Now, I want to do pros and cons. Going to do this a little different than normal. we're going to do the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, of course, pros. The bad are going to be stuff that people gripe about, but I can defend, right? Or I can see that, it's not unheard of, right? And then the ugly would be things that I cannot defend, right? Issues that I have issues with, right? Issues with the problems with the Hi-Point that I have problems with. All right, so. Okay. The good. And I got a list of stuff here. I don't want to forget nothing. Of course, first off, this is an all-American made gun. So, I mean, I give it something, that right there off the bat. And it's going to get, the typical and not so typical. Cost, right? Now, you're going to get a better deal if you buy these used instead of buying them new. Obviously, you get a cheaper price. However, when someone buys a gun, they typically buy more magazines, they'll buy a case, they'll buy a holster, right? They'll maybe have some ammo thrown in the deal. So if you can buy one, buy one. There's another reason to it. We'll get to it later on the list. But that's the first, cost. And, besides being an American gun. What did I pay for it? I copied my receipt and I scratched out, important information, serial number and all that. But here we go. Hi-Point C9. And I got that. Yeah, my name is Tom. As you can guess, my last name is not Ado. But, yeah. Hi-Point C9. 9mm pistol. $80. $86.60 with tax. Huh? Now. Oh, yeah. And that was recently. December 12th, 2016. Right. That is what I paid for this gun. So, cost. Very inexpensive. Resale value, especially if you buy it used. I paid $80. You probably won't get a good deal, like as good a deal as that. But I see them on Arms List and Texas Gun Trader for $150 all day long, and they're on there for a couple days, maybe a week or two. They sell. So already, I can sell this $150, and I've already done pretty good. But I'm going to probably keep this guy. Might keep it in the glove box. I don't know. Maybe I'll run into somebody that really needs a firearm, and good person that I don't know. But I'll probably keep it, just to be a glove box gun for me. So resale value, you pretty much get what you pay for it, right? And if you buy it new, you're going to lose some, but not that much. They sell. I've seen it between $170 new and $220 new, right? $220 is too much. They're jibbing you. $200-ish, not bad. $100 is okay. Good. Another one, lifetime warranty. Right? It doesn't matter if you're the first owner or the 100th owner. If you own this gun, it's covered by warranty. Unless with the Hi-Points, the carbine rifles, they're not really meant for this. You can modify them, but you're not supposed to use Pro Mag 15-round gun magazines. You will void the warranty on your Hi-Point. There is the red ball that's approved. They're even on the Hi-Point website, the 20-rounders for this gun. But you cannot use the Pro Mag. You avoid the warranty. But other than that, lifetime warranty. If something's wrong with it, you contact them. They'll give you detailed instructions on how to ship it to them. Right? They fix it for free, and from my understanding, they mail you back a new magazine for your troubles. That's excellent, which leads into the next point. Excellent customer service, right? I just got this guy. I took it apart. I cleaned it. I polished the feed ramp. That's all I did, right? And I called up Hi-Point because I don't think it's been cleaned before. And I tell the lady, and all my guns are empty. They have a snap cap or they're empty. So I'm not going to check for you safety sallies. But I told the lady that I have an older Hi-Point. You know, so the ridges in here, they come up pretty high and they're deep. The sights, they're all orange, not yellow and orange, just all orange. And then the trigger, smooth. There's no lip. So this is an older model. I tell her I tell her I had an older model, and that it was really filthy, and I thought the springs were probably, you know, really beaten down, worn down, and I'd like to replace them. So she asked me for the serial number. I gave her the serial number, and she asked me, you know, or actually, she said, okay, we'll send you out a firing pin assembly, and we're going to send you out a recoil spring. And she says, you know, she asked me, is there anything else you need? And I said, yeah. Can I get a extractor spring? Can I get a sear spring? Can I get a magazine spring? And there was one more spring. I just basically wanted to change out most of the springs because I figure, you know, hell, a spring is a spring. They're going to wear down no matter what you have. So, yeah, she's like, okay, what's your address? I gave it to her. Okay, they'll be out there in 5 to 7 days. Free parts, excellent customer service on a gun I paid $80 for. Right? That's definitely good. All the Hi-Points have a they're all rated for plus P loads, right? They can fire hot rounds, man. Not all guns can do that. You're talking about $100-something gun. They can fire plus P loads. That's the carbine rifles, all the carbines, all the pistols. All Hi-Point firearms can fire plus P. Alright? That's definitely good. If you need it, man, definitely good. Another thing, they have a fixed barrel. The barrel is pinned to the frame, right? Which improves accuracy. What I'm talking about is like, look at this Glock here. See that? Right? This guy is pinned to the frame, which, you know, I used to fire my buddies all the time. Pretty accurate little gun. I mean, you know, not the most accurate, but pretty darn accurate little gun. And having the fixed barrel, well, that's part of it. They have another thing to look at. Let's bring this Glock back. Sights. $5.50-ish for a Glock, right? And you get cheap plastic sights. Okay, no problem. A Glock, on a Hi-Point, you also get cheap plastic sights, but see that? They're adjustable. Adjustable sights on $100-and-something gun, new, right? That's new. Another thing, you get optional ghost sights. I didn't get it because I got this gun used. I'm sure if I would have asked the lady, she would have sent them to me, but I like 3 dots. I didn't care for them anyway, so I didn't bother personally. Something else. It's a simple blowback design, a proven design. The guns do have a flaw, but it's not the design of the gun. We'll get to that later. That'll be another section. But a very simple design. I want to show you something. Now, a Glock has, what, like 30, 34, 35, something like that, parts. Right? A 1911, 50-something, something like that. Right? Look at this Hi-Point. 40, goes up to 40. 40 parts. Now, hold on. Allen wrench counts as one part. You got the 20, the 10 round and the 8 round magazine counting as a part each. You've got the compensator, this discontinued, counting as a part. You got the pin for the compensator counting as a part. You've got the safety key. You've got the ghost ring sights counting as a part. So, I mean, really, all in all, you're looking at about, again, similar to a Glock, 34, 35 parts. Very simple to work on, right? That's definitely a plus. They're fun to customize, man, because of the price. Look on YouTube, you see all kinds of tactical Hi-Points. Chromed out Hi-Points. Zombie green, which, you know, I thought looked pretty cool. There's even this guy, they do framework. This guy, he filed away some of his frame here to give access to this little rail here. And he put a little light on there. So, I mean, because it's a cheap gun, the magazine, because it's a cheap gun, inexpensive gun, you can do that. Right? No problem. I mean, I sure as hell aren't going to shave off parts of this HK. No way, man. But something like that, hey, it's fun to tinker with, right? Some of them have an accessory rail. Not all, but some. The 40 and 45, I believe, have an accessory rail. The C9 and the 380s, the 9mm and the 380s do not. That's okay. I believe you can buy these in all 50 states. I'm not sure about New York with the 7-round capacity. Maybe not. And California just had a bunch of new gun laws go through. So maybe not. I'm not sure. So check your state and local laws there. The final thing on the good, and a very, very important one, which for those of you who have not seen the torture test, Iraqi veteran did a series of videos, like 4 videos, where they tried to blow the Hi-Point up. Right? They had a 380 and a C9. And at the beginning, they didn't really give it much credit, and they put hot loads in it. The hottest they could find. Eventually, they got down to the point where they were filling the thing with gunpowder, bolting the barrel, right, putting hot loads and running behind a tree with a string to pull the trigger. And this thing just kept going. It was amazing how much they put it through, and then they put it back together, and they're shooting this thing. After all that, I'm going to leave links in the description bar for those of you to check it out. I mean, they're really, really tough little guns, man. They're really robust. I mean, it's amazing how much abuse they can take for $100 and something bucks. Okay, our next little section is going to be the bad. What most people gripe about, but, I can defend because it's not really unheard of, in my opinion. People say, of course, they're heavy. Well, I've known several people, including myself, that have owned 1911s, right? That all thought those were heavy, right? I don't have any 1911s anymore. I sold them off when they were trying to push this new assault weapons ban again, all that. I sold them off and I bought Glocks because of the capacity, but I wish I would have kept them in hindsight, at least one. But yeah, they're heavy. I knew 2 guys that concealed carry 1911s for a little while. One guy for about 2, maybe 2.5 weeks. The other guy did it for a month and a half. Why did they stop carrying them? Because they were heavy. So a gun being heavy, it's not really unheard of. So I can defend it there. People say it's chunky, right? But really, if you look at it, it's really not that much chunkier than a Glock. It's about, pretty close to like a Beretta 92, right? I bet my brother, he brought his over, be about that thick too. So let's do a little comparison here. Okay, let's see how thick these are. Side by side. Yes, the Hi-Point is thicker than the Glock. But is it really that much thicker? Right? Let's take a look at the front. Yes, the Hi-Point is a little thicker, but, not really noticeable from this angle. I mean, and the bad guy definitely wouldn't stop and analyze that, right? Let's see here. From this angle, yeah, you can see a difference to an extent, right? But I mean, is it really a huge difference? Right? Look at the magazine wells. I think the Glock magazine well, of course, it's double stacked, but I mean, as far as the grip, I mean, you know, it's not. I mean, it actually look a little bit bigger. So I mean, the Glock is kind of clunky too, right? And I said like, the Beretta is going to be a bit thicker than this. So I mean, really, look at this. Is it really a huge difference? I don't think so. I mean, just not that much. Okay, so is it clunky? Yeah. The other issue, it's ugly. Yeah, it is. I think a Glock's ugly too. You know, I've always thought that they're reliable, right? But it's not a really attractive gun. You want to talk about an attractive gun, a 1911, right? Sleek, sexy gun. I think a 1911 is a good-looking gun, right? A good wheel gun, chrome, you know, nice grips on that sucker. Maybe some mammoth ivory. Yeah, that's a pretty gun. But Glock, Hi-Point. I mean, you know, who gives a damn really? My work boots, right? I got a pair of work boots. They're not pretty. They get the job done. They're not really that different. I mean, polymer, right? And metal, black. I mean, they're not really pretty guns, either one of them. So that doesn't really matter to me. What else? Top heavy. Oh, that's a good one. You know what else is top heavy? This HK, right? Real big old heavy rail slide on top and light polymer bottom. I mean, this is a high dollar gun. It's heavy, right? So it's not unheard of either. What else? The bad, what else? Not a lot of accessories. The Glock, you can find accessories all day long. You can find aftermarket magazines, triggers, sights, all day long, right? Hi-Point, not so much, but, I mean, really, as cheap as it is, you know, a holster, maybe you can, there's a couple lights on there, there's cheap lights you can stick in the front. I mean, really, what would you do? You're going to be one of these guys that puts all kinds of optics and stuff on a handgun? I don't know about that. I don't see a problem with that personally. I mean, a light, you know, a laser, yeah, that'll work. But I mean, you know, holographic sights and all that, I'm not into that myself. You know, to each their own, but I'm not into it. So I don't see the problem there. The bad, it feels cheap, right? The grips, it's got a rattle to it. You know what? It's $100-something gun, right? What do you expect? That rattle, you can take care of that. Put a little bit of gun grease on there, you disassemble it, and hey, really not that big of a deal. I mean, it is an inexpensive gun. The grips, put a Hogue hand-all grips on that, the universal grips. That's the problem, you know, or stipple the grips, you know. It feels cheap because it is cheap, right? But it's effective. So I can defend that, man. I mean, you know, again, like a pair of work boots. I almost forgot the bad. The trigger. I've heard it compared to a like pellet gun, and I guess that's a pretty fair assessment. However, I mean, this is not really unheard of. You remember the Smith and Wesson Sigmas, right? They were known for having a pretty rough trigger as well, and the same thing with the SD, and then of course the newest SDVE. But those I like them, but still the trigger for a gun that costs double what this guy does, it still has not the smoothest trigger, right? So I can forgive it. Yeah, I guess the best way to describe it is like a trigger on a pellet gun. But hey, when there's higher end guns with the same issues, I mean, you can't really knock it. Of course, I'm gonna make videos showing you how to make this this all-American gun be all it can be. You can, smoothen the trigger a little bit, right? There's a little bit of work you can do, right? Rock your Glock type. You can fill the sear with a little bit of grease and just work the trigger. Eventually, it'll loosen itself up. It'll smooth itself out. I mean, so there's that much going for it. But all the pros you get, all the good, yeah, right? Okay. Okay, so now let's get into the ugly issues I cannot defend, right? I don't like that you need a punch and a mallet to break it down, right? I can live with it. That's okay, I guess, I just keep them. I'm gonna start keeping a little punch in my in my cleaning kit. But that's about it, I could buy a little cheap hammer or something, throw that in the range bag, I guess. But I don't like that you need a punch to break it down. That's kind of a pain in the behind, right? Another another one is low capacity magazines, man. Only make an 8 and 10 round. Again, Pro Mags, the 15 rounder, they'll void your warranty, and half the Pro Mags I bought suck anyway. I've had 50-50 luck with those. Half the time they work all the time. There's the new Red Ball 20 round magazine, which you can buy, but still, I mean, I know these were made during the Clinton assault weapons ban, but afterwards, I mean, come on, man, and the magazines, especially the 10 rounder, they're a really ugly magazine. The battery pack, I mean, I'll deal with it for the extra 2 rounds. I would say, if you're going to carry this guy, maybe keep the 8 rounds like as is in your holster and keep a couple of the 10 rounders. At that point, it don't matter what the hell the magazines look like. It's what they're going to do for you. I don't like that you need to polish the feed ramp and tweak the magazines. That is the Achilles heel of this gun. Not really the design of the gun, but of the magazine, right? There's ways you can fix that, and but you shouldn't have to. It should be reliable right out of the box. Now, there's guys that say they have no problems with Hi-Point. Okay, great. My buddy, there's a break-in period, yes, granted. My buddy's, his was okay, but he polished the hell out of the feed ramp, and he modified the magazines. After that, he had no problem. It's a simple fix, right? The modifications are easy to do and cheap. They cost you mainly time. Sandpaper, some gun grease, some needle nose pliers, and you can get this damn thing pretty reliable. But it should be reliable right out of the box, of course, given the break-in period. You can again polish the feed lips on the magazine as well. Widen them just a little bit. There's a way you can tweak the springs. I'm going to go over everything on that, but it should be ready to go out of the box, right? That's something I can't defend. Okay, so my final thoughts. If all you can buy, all you can afford to buy is a Hi-Point, then buy a Hi-Point. There's a few mods you can do, and I'm going to leave links in the description bar to help you out. You would do those mods, and you would save to buy something a little higher end, right? After you buy a little higher end gun, you could leave this one in your glove box or sell it to recoup some of the cost. Do not sell your Hi-Point until you have the new replacement at home, right? You always want to have something at home just in case. You want to be able to defend yourself and your family. You don't want to, okay, I'm just $100-something away. I'm gonna sell this gun and then I'll have the money. You're gonna want to spend that money, man. Or, something's gonna come up and you're not gonna be able to go down there. Wait until you get the new gun. You bring that sucker home, you test it out, right? And then you sell this guy, or you use it as a glove box gun or something. Or you got something for you and, maybe the missus or something, right? That way you got two guns at least, and then, you wait till you buy another one for her, and then you can sell it off for something. But if if all you can afford is a Hi-Point, get a Hi-Point. They're reliable. They're tough little guns. A few modifications, and you can get these damn things solid, man. They're tough little guns. I give them that, man. All right. Anyway, thanks for watching. There's links in the description bar to help you out. I'm out, guys.